The past may feel like a chain, heavy on your shoulders, but when restoration begins to flow, those chains melt like wax in the presence of fire. You will see that the very weight that once slowed you down becomes the reason you now run faster. You will realize that the very darkness that once surrounded you has made the light that now shines even brighter. And when you look back, you will no longer see wasted years. You will see a hidden design. You will see the evidence that even in your wandering, even in your mistakes, even in your delays, a higher order was still shaping the path beneath your feet. You were never truly abandoned in those years. Though you felt alone, though you believed you had been forgotten, you were still being carried. You may not have seen the hand that guided you, but it was there. You may not have heard the whisper that comforted you, but it was speaking. You may not have understood the silence, but it was pregnant with meaning. What you thought was empty was, in truth, sacred. What you thought was meaningless was in truth preparation for meaning so deep that you could not yet carry it. The beautiful paradox of restoration is that it does not erase the past, it transforms it. The scars remain, but the scars become proof of survival. The memories remain, but the memories are infused with wisdom. The losses remain, but the losses are woven into a greater gain. And when you finally stand in the fullness of restored years, you will be able to say, nothing was wasted. Not a single tear, not a single night, not a single failure. Everything has become part of who I am now. There are those who believe they are too broken to be restored. They believe that too much damage has been done, that too many mistakes have been made, but that they no longer deserve another chance. But restoration is not earned, it is given. It does not come because you have done everything right. It comes because you have endured, because you are still breathing, because you have not surrendered your spirit even when you thought you had. The very fact that you still long for restoration is proof that you are worthy of it. If the desire still burns in you, then restoration is possible. You must also understand that restoration is not only about external things. It is not only about careers, relationships, wealth, or health. Those may be restored, yes, but the deeper restoration happens within. It is the restoration of your inner fire, the restoration of your peace, the restoration of your identity, the restoration of your dignity. When the inner life is restored, the outer life will follow. But if the outer life is restored without the inner being healed, then nothing will last. That is why the wasted years often begin inside the heart, inside the mind, inside the soul. And when restoration begins, it begins there as well. What once made you ashamed will now give you courage. What once made you small will now make you great. What once silenced you will now give you a voice. And as that voice rises, it will not be only for your own sake, but for the sake of others who are still trapped in their wasted years. They will look at you and see that it is possible, that restoration is real, that the story does not end in regret. Your life will become a testimony that no season is ever too far gone, that no failure is ever final, that no loss is ever beyond redemption. Imagine standing in a field where nothing has grown for years. The soil is cracked, the ground is dry, The wind blows with dust, and you wonder if life can ever return. Then, suddenly, clouds gather, rain begins to fall, and in a short time, green shoots begin to push through the soil. What looked dead begins to breathe again. What looked lost begins to bloom again. This is the image of restoration. It comes like rain on barren ground. We're bringing forth life in places that had forgotten how to live. This is why you must never define your future by your past. Your past is not the map of your destiny. It is only the soil from which destiny grows. If you cling too tightly to the narrative of wasted years, you will miss the truth that those years have been secretly transformed into fuel for your next season. Release the bitterness, release the self blame, release the endless questioning of why did I waste so much? And instead ask, what can these years now become? Because the answer to that question is far greater than what you expect. There is a river flowing through time, and sometimes it seems that the river has bypassed you. You see others sailing with ease, you see others reaping abundance, and you feel you have been left on the shore, stranded, forgotten. But restoration is when the river bends toward you again. It is when the current that seemed distant suddenly surrounds you, carrying you forward faster than you could have imagined. And the years you thought were wasted become like reservoirs of water, suddenly released in a flood of acceleration. The truth is, your destiny is not fragile. It cannot be destroyed by delays. It cannot be erased by mistakes. It cannot be stolen by others. It may be hidden for a time, it may be slowed, it may be interrupted, but it cannot be erased. And when the appointed time comes, everything that was withheld will be released. That is restoration. It is the moment destiny catches up with you, the moment when everything that seemed scattered suddenly aligns. Do not underestimate the power of patience in this process. Many grow weary in the waiting, believing that if restoration does not happen quickly, it will not happen at all. But patience is the womb of restoration. Patience is the space where unseen growth occurs. Patience is the evidence of trust, the proof that you believe the wasted years will be redeemed. Do not let impatience rob you of the joy of what is to come. Do not settle for less simply because you are tired of waiting. The longer the roots take to grow, the greater the harvest will be. In the journey of restoration, you will also be tested. Not to break you, but to prepare you. You will be asked if you are ready to let go of bitterness. You will be asked if you are ready to forgive those who contributed to your wasted years. You will be asked if you are ready to forgive yourself, because without forgiveness, restoration cannot last. With the weight of resentment will poison the new season, and the gift of restored years will slip through your fingers. But when you release, when you let go, when you open your hands, you are finally ready to receive. You will notice as restoration unfolds that the pieces of your life begin to fit together in ways you never thought possible. The pain connects with the joy, the silence connects with the breakthrough, the tears connect with the laughter. You begin to see the pattern, the thread that was weaving all along, and in that moment, gratitude will overwhelm you. Gratitude not only for the restoration, but even for the wasted years themselves. because now you see they were not wasted. They were necessary. The future you step into will not be fragile because it has been forged in fire. The joy you experience will not be shallow because it has been carved out of sorrow. The strength you carry will not be fleeting because it has been built in weakness. Everything you become in this new season will have depth, will have weight, will have permanence. And that is the gift of restoration. It does not return you to who you were, it creates someone stronger than you ever imagined. When others look at you, they may see only the restoration. They may marvel at the abundance, the opportunities, the peace, the joy. But you will know the deeper truth. You will know the cost, the journey, the years of emptiness, the nights of struggle. And because you know, you will not take a single blessing for granted. You will hold every restored moment as sacred. You will carry every gift with humility. You will walk every step with reverence. Restoration is not just for you. It is through you. When your years are restored, you will become a vessel of restoration for others. You will speak life into those who are weary. You will bring hope to those who believe it is too late. You will carry light into places still covered in shadows, because the purpose of restored years is not only to heal your story, but to ripple into the stories of many others. Your testimony will be the seed of someone else's restoration. The journey is not easy. There will still be doubts. There will still be voices that whisper against you. But every time you remember that restoration is real, every time you choose to believe again, every time you take one more step forward, you silence those voices. You rise above them. You prove that what was wasted is no longer wasted. You prove that your story is not over. You prove that life can begin again, stronger, fuller, deeper than ever before. Restoration begins to change not only how you see the past, but how you step into each present moment. You begin to walk differently, breathe differently, carry yourself with a quiet strength that does not need to prove itself. With the weight that once bent your shoulders is replaced with a steady confidence. You no longer live as someone counting losses, but as someone expecting increase. This shift does not happen all at once. It grows slowly, like dawn spreading across the horizon. At first only a faint light, then more and more until the darkness is fully broken and morning has come. Each day becomes an opportunity to reclaim something that seemed gone. The laughter you thought was silenced returns in small ripples until it becomes deep waves of joy. The courage you thought had left you begins to speak in small decisions until it becomes bold choices. The creativity you thought was dead begins to stir in fragments until it flows like a river once more. Step by step, layer by layer, restoration begins to rebuild the house of your life, not with the fragile walls of the past, but with stones forged from resilience, wisdom, and faith. There will be moments when doubt tries to creep in again. You will hear the voice that says, "This cannot last. Something will go wrong again. You will lose it once more." That voice comes to test you. It wants you to surrender before the full harvest arrives. But you must answer it not with fear, but with certainty. You must remind yourself that restoration is not a fragile blessing that disappears at the first sign of trouble. It is a permanent shift in the soil of your life. What has been restored cannot easily be stolen again because now you are different. You are not the same person who once lost it all. You have grown roots, and those roots are unshakable. Restoration is not simply about filling empty hands. It is about teaching you how to use what has been placed there. The opportunities that come now will require you to steward them with wisdom. The relationships that return now will require you to nurture them with patience. The dreams that awaken now will require you to pursue them with discipline. In the past, these things may have slipped through your fingers because you were not ready. Now you are. The wasted years taught you the value of what is precious. They taught you to protect, to cultivate, to endure. That is why restoration comes when it does, because you have finally become the person who can carry it well. Sometimes restoration begins in ways you cannot recognize. It might not look like abundance at first. It might look like small beginnings, unexpected encounters, quiet changes in your own heart. Do not despise these beginnings. The seed does not look like the harvest, yet it carries the entire harvest inside it. The seed of restoration, once planted, will grow into a forest of blessings if you nurture it with trust and persistence. Each small sign is proof that the process has already begun, even if you do not yet see the fullness. There is a rhythm to restored time. You may notice that events happen faster, opportunities connect more easily, doors open more widely. It feels as though time itself is on your side. Where once you struggled to make progress, now you move with flow. This is because restoration bends time. It compresses what was lost and returns it in acceleration. What others may take decades to build, you may achieve in a short span because your wasted years have been gathered and transformed into momentum. This is not luck. It is not chance. It is the mystery of restoration at work. When restoration unfolds, it does not erase the memory of pain, but it changes the meaning of pain. You no longer look at your scars with bitterness. You look at them with gratitude. They remind you not of what you lost, but of what you survived. They remind you that you walked through fire and came out refined. They remind you that you endured what could have broken you, and because of that, nothing ahead can easily destroy you. Pain becomes no longer a prison, but a teacher. And in that teaching, you find freedom. The world may not understand your restoration. People may look at you and wonder how you are rising again after so much loss. They may whisper that you do not deserve it, that you wasted too much, that you are being given more than you should have, but you do not need their approval. Restoration is not for them to measure, it is for you to live. What is being returned to you is not theirs to understand, it is yours to embrace. Do not explain yourself to those who do not see. Walk forward. Live fully. Let your restoration speak for itself. As restoration deepens, you will notice a new strength in your voice. You will no longer speak from wounds, but from healing. You will no longer speak from lack, but from abundance. Your words will carry weight because they have been shaped by truth, and those who hear you will feel that weight. They will sense that you are not speaking theory, but experience. They will recognize that you are not pretending, but living proof that restoration is real. And so the cycle continues. What was lost returns, what was broken heals, what was silent sings again. And as this cycle continues, it begins to extend beyond you. You become an agent of restoration wherever you go. Broken people will feel hope in your presence. Tired souls will find strength in your words. Those who believe their years are wasted will see your life and begin to believe again. Restoration, once personal, becomes communal. It multiplies outward, touching everyone it encounters.